this short video, we're going to take a look at an introduction to licensing Power Automate, and here we'll be focusing on digital process automation. My name is Vicky Lee, an independent Microsoft licensing expert, and I'll be taking you through this session today. Power Automate helps organizations automate their business processes, but why is this important? Process automation helps users by reducing manual and repetitive time-consuming tasks. And this means, of course, that users can focus on more interesting and more important tasks. Manual entry of data can lead to errors which can be costly, and process automation can help to make sure that there are fewer errors. You can imagine that automating processes in a business is going to save time, and we'll see that users will be able to record and automate the repetitive and tedious tasks that are part of their day-to-day work. And the goal for most organizations? Well, end-to-end automation of business processes, from simple approvals to complex workflows. When organizations want to automate their business processes, they need to be able to do this across modern systems with APIs and older legacy apps without APIs. Power Automate works across all of these systems and apps, utilizing both digital process automation and robotic process automation. And in this session, we're focusing on digital process automation. Automations of this type are called cloud flows, and there are three main types which differ on how they're started. And the link at the bottom of the slide takes you to a useful page where all of this is documented. But first of all, there's an automated flow which runs when a particular event happens. This is the trigger. Then there's an instant flow which runs when the user, for example, clicks a button. And finally, there's a scheduled flow which runs on a particular date and time. And how do you create these cloud flows? Well, you'd probably start with a template, and you'll need to make use of connectors. And there are many predefined templates that a user can work with available inside of Power Automate. And as well as potentially using a template, you will need to use connectors to connect your accounts and enable them to talk to each other. Connectors are classified either as standard or premium, and you can see on the right-hand side the little premium boxes showing which are the premium connectors. So let's move on to have a look at how the flows that you've created in Power Automate are licensed. And there are two licenses available, the per user and the per flow license. So first of all, the per user license. This is a monthly user subscription license that gives the rights to create and access any number of flows across any environments. The licenses are assigned to users in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center in a similar way to Microsoft 365 licenses. And these licenses are great for businesses that want a single license to take care of the licensing of all of the flows for their users. Then we have the per flow license, which is a single license that licenses the flow itself and enables an unlimited number of users to access a flow across an organization. Licenses are assigned to a flow in the Power Platform Admin Center, and do note that there is a minimum purchase of 5 per flow licenses. And these licenses are great for businesses that want to implement flows for unlimited users across an organization. So let's take a look at a scenario to show you how this works. Here we've got an organization who have a number of Power Automate licenses. There are two different types of licenses, and they have acquired 6 per user licenses and 6 per flow licenses. And we'll see the difference between them as we look at how these two users here are licensed for the flows that they need to use. First of all, the flows are created, and when a flow is created, it's assigned to an environment. An environment is a space to store, manage and share an organization's business data, apps and flows. And it also serves as a container to separate flows that may have different roles, security requirements or target audiences. Power Automate automatically creates a single default environment for each tenant, and you can see that this customer has also created an environment for finance. Our first user is going to need to access a variety of flows, and the business decides to assign a per user license to her. When someone's created a flow, they then share it with users, and we can see that our first user has all these flows shared with her. She has a per user license assigned to her, and she's allowed to access any flow in any environment. So she's fully licensed for what she needs to do. The per flow licenses are not assigned to users, they're assigned to flows. So what about our other user? He has these flows shared with him. And because all of the flows he needs to access are licensed with per flow licenses, there are no additional licensing requirements for him to use the flows that he needs to. And in fact, a per flow license allows an unlimited number of users to use a licensed flow across the organization. Finally, there's also a pay-as-you-go option available for Power Automate, where you can choose to license each unique run of a flow. Here, the environment that the flows are assigned to needs to be linked to an Azure subscription for the billing. And then there is a cost per run of the flow, which varies depending upon the type of flow being run. But be aware that users or flows who have been individually licensed do not incur any pay-as-you-go charges. So this is great for organizations who only want to pay for when a user actually runs a flow. And then in terms of dataverse capacity, each pay-as-you-go environment has allocated capacity, and any additional usage beyond the allocation is not drawn down from the tenant-wide allocations, but is charged for on a meter for that particular environment. That concludes this short video. Thank you very much for watching. If you require any more information around Power Automate, please do contact TD Synnex.